This is the Mac Daddy here, and I want to talk about this particular little rifle here. This has a special place in my heart because I have one son and I have one daughter. And I bought this rifle from my son when he turned, I think it was 6. And what this is this is this rifle is made by a company called Keystone Sporting Arms in Pennsylvania, Keystone State. And this is called the Davy Cricket rifle for youths, whatever. And this is your basic bolt action 22 long rifle, and it'll shoot 22 shorts, 22 longs, and 22 long rifles. But I always shoot 22 long rifles because shorts and longs are hard to come by. Like I said, I bought this when he was 6 years old because this particular rifle is designed for a child, and it fit him perfectly at the time. He outgrew it by the time he was about 9 or 10. But I wanted to go over this rifle sort of quick here. And if you look at this, it's a basic single shot bolt action rifle. To load this gun, you take your 22 rifle, your 22 round, and you have to stick it in there and push it in. Actually, push it into the chamber with your thumb. This is a single shot rifle. It only fires one shot at a time. When you close it, then you close it in. You have your rifle loaded. You can't shoot this rifle until you pull that cocking piece back, and then your rifle is ready to shoot. That's the only other safety on this rifle. Now, if you look at the inside of this receiver here, you'll see a little hole that's drilled in the inside of that receiver. You see this little hole over here, Mary? Can you see that? Well, that hole drilled in there is for a second safety. This rifle sold in some states has a second safety on it, and it's sort of drilled through the stock here, and it's a little button you press, and it'll put a bolt through the lower part of this receiver that will prevent the bolt from closing. So that's a second safety, and it actually has a key that you have to use to unlock it. So that's a second safety. But this is Florida, and this is sort of a free state, and they're not like some nanny states where they come up with these bogus safety laws for their guns. So you see how this works. You have to load it manually. You have to pull the cocking handle back to fire it, and then you can fire the gun. Like I said, single shot. This rifle has a nice set of peep sights. It's got a peep sight in the back. It's got a blade sight in the front. And if you look close over here, it is adjustable for windage and elevation. This is elevation. This up here is windage. So you can adjust it for windage and elevation. It's sort of a crude adjustment, but it works pretty good. And I remember this rifle was set for about 25 yards pretty much when I got it. So this is a nice rifle to teach your son or daughter how to shoot. They have it in other colors, like blue and pink for girls and stuff. And now if you look at this rifle, it's got a polymer stock on it, and you think, well, that's sort of cheap looking, right? But if you look at it real close, this is a nice rifle. If you look in the side here, it says "My First Rifle," sort of embossed into the side of the rifle here. On the other side, it's the same way. It says "My First Rifle," which is nice. And then if you look here, and the butt plate, it's got a really nice stylized cricket with a rifle that says Davy Cricket. Can you see that, Miriam? It's a really nice little stock. And if you look here, it's got a nice Monte Carlo piece over here for a cheek rest. It's got a nice, it has a sort of a semi-pistol grip here that's checkered really nice. This is a nice little stock. It's just a nice rifle, and if you get a feel for the stock, it's tough. It's a strong. I mean, it's a nice strong stock. So it's a decent rifle. Now, to remove the bolt on this, you open it up and pull it back, and you have to pull the trigger, and that'll release the bolt. And if you look at the bolt on this rifle, you think this is a cheap piece of crap rifle, but this bolt is solid steel, and it looks like it might be what do they call that? Plated maybe, nickel plated maybe. And it's a really nice, and you can see the firing pin when you push the striker up. At the end of the bolt, you've got a little Keystone logo here for the Keystone Sporting Arms. And like I said, the only thing that's plastic on this is the little cocking piece in the back. So this is a quality rifle. This is not a really cheap rifle. This cost me about $115 when I bought it. And back then, I could have gotten like a Savage, what do they call it? A Savage maybe 64, I think they called it. I could have gotten a semi-automatic Savage rifle in 22 for about $100. So this is not a cheap rifle. And the barrel has the rifling that reminds me of the rifling on my Marlin Model 60. So it's a decent barrel on this rifle too. So the stock is nice. The action is quality. You got adjustable sights here. This is for a child too. And I always like to when I start teaching a kid to shoot, I always start with a long rifle. You should never teach a child to shoot with a pistol, because the problem with a pistol is it's too easy to wave around, and kids, they like to wave things around like toys. With a rifle, it's hard to wave this around as much, you know. And when you go out there with a kid, you have to be there every second and watch them. I'm just saying, when you're out there teaching your kid, you just have to be there with them. Anyway, so I like this rifle. It's a good deal for a child. Now, when my son outgrew this when he was like 9 or 10, I was going to give it to my daughter. But my daughter, she was never into shooting like my son was. And I'm not going to force my daughter to do anything, except maybe brush her teeth. So if my daughter doesn't want to shoot right now, and she's 12 now, she still doesn't want to shoot. So that's fine by me. I mean, that's all up to her. The nice thing about this rifle is that they actually sell full-size stocks for this thing at Keystone. So you can put a full-size stock on this thing, and you can make it grow with him. They also have little spacer pieces that you could put on the back of his buttstock to lengthen the length of pull as the kid gets older, if you wanted to. But with my son, he graduated to the Marlin Model 60. Now, this rifle, since my daughter doesn't like it, my wife, this is perfect for my wife, because my wife is a very, very small stature person, and this would fit her perfect. So she'll shoot this one. She can shoot this if she wants. Although my wife, she's not really into shooting that much either. The other thing that I like about this rifle is that it's held together by one screw here, and you can take this gun and you can unscrew it. You can actually replace this screw with like a knurled, like a thumb screw. So it'd be easier to unscrew without using a screwdriver. And you can take this apart. You can put this gun together in some kind of a backpack when you go out backpacking or something. You see, it's a nice little package. It's like a little takedown rifle. And when you take this buttstock, there's 2 screws on this buttstock. When you take this buttstock off, there's a whole big cavity inside this stock, and you can put a baggie with a bunch of 22 long rifle rounds in it, and maybe a couple of fishing hooks, maybe a little knife, and some fishing line. And this would be like a good survival rifle. And you don't even have to put the butt back on. You could put one of these extension butts that slides on there, and all you would have to do is put the gun together with the one screw. Like I said, you could get a thumb screw instead of this, so you could just use your thumb. Then you could pull the back piece off, and you have your ammo in there, extra ammo and stuff. And you'd be really set for the shit hits the fan type of thing. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed learning about this rifle. And if you have a kid that's into this, this is like a great rifle for you to get for them. I'll put this together later. But this is a nice rifle for a first rifle. And this particular rifle, it came in Florida. It came with a trigger lock. Like I said, in some other states, they actually had that other second safety on it. But all I can say is this is a nice rifle to give to your kid. They'll always remember it. It'll always have a special place in your heart, because this was the thing you gave your kid for his or her first rifle. And I wanted to thank my wife for videotaping this or videoing this, because she's always nice to me, and I love her very much. Thank you, wife.